Greetings and salutations. Today on Whiskey Untitled, we're going to be talking about all kinds of cool stuff. Mostly finishes, be they cask finishes or whiskey finishes. I don't think there's any other type of cask, but we're going to find out together because what people finish their whiskey in sometimes is great, and sometimes it's crazy, and sometimes it's horrible. So we're going to just try it all. So grab a highball, sit back, relax, and chat it up and chat because that's what's up.
Bam!
Oh yeah.
To be honest, that music does pump me up for the show. So
because it's super hype music. Eventually, we have to change it because we got to be like, this is season 2, even though we've done this for like 4 season years.
I think it's almost been like 3. Almost like 2 to 3. Yeah, that's where we're at. What's up, man?
Oh, it has been. Votary, what's up?
What happened there? But yeah.
What happened where?
I don't know. Some pop-up happened on the... just talking about the streaming. Does that sometimes? But yeah.
Oh, I've never
good.
seen that before.
How's
what's up, Gregor?
How's microphone mics and stuff like that? Sound quality, making sure that both our mics
How's
are
the
plugged
volume?
in.
Are you enjoying our voices?
I got a new cable for my microphone, so I can put it right against my mouth. So it's awesome. Happy about that.
Gross.
Hey, man, it is what it is, right? You say
it is what it is.
It is.
And
thanks, Greg.
Funny thing, it's Tuesday. This is a whiskey show.
Yes,
Charles. I need to know what's in your glass.
So my Monday felt like any other crazy Monday. So I'm pouring some Balvenie 21 Portwood.
Oh,
which will also be part of our topic. So it is my happy go-to bottle. I'd have to think too much about it. I just enjoy it, so it kind of just it's my bottle.
Let me just go grab it off the shelf for fun because it's not one that I picked today.
Oh, it's funny how your shelf is just like right creative.
There. Yeah, no. These 7 shelves.
Yeah. But wait, you moved your thing to your other room now?
No, I have 11 shelves. Here's the problem. So some of them are in this room, some of them are in the other room. Okay. That's the problem.
Yeah, but yeah. So since you know what's my glass, what's in your glass?
This is a highball made with Toki because I'm a basic white girl.
Yeah, okay. Toki highball. Toki's made 4 highballs, so you're kind of following that suit. Plus, it is pretty hot. I don't know, like, what's the temperature around you or so?
110 today, but that was just before the car cooled down. It was 100 degrees outside.
Damn. Yeah, I think I was at 80 something. Oh, we almost broke 90.
Yeah, it's been it's been in the 90s all week. It's been horrible. Although there was like super lightning and thunder happening outside just now, and it's
go get it, man. We'll stop the show for you.
I'm just waiting for the power to go out.
Oh, really? Is that what happens with you guys? Power just jumps out?
No, but every blue moon, it's like anything else. Want a Toki highball? Yeah, Gregor, make a Toki highball. But here, do it like this. Give yourself 1 dash of Angostura bitters. Give yourself 1 ounce of Toki, and then 6.75 ounces of Fever Tree ginger beer.
As if you was going to have that ginger beer there.
But it tastes better than a regular highball, I think, instead of just like regular soda water.
Yeah, Gregor, it is hot. It's all hot.
It's
but
hot
hey,
as literal
my
balls.
Tomatoes are loving it right now. My plants are loving it. So.
Oh, my mom's growing tomatoes, and they are insanely whatever tomatoes do.
Yeah, no, wow.
And the cucumbers are coming in like
our zucchinis are huge. Yeah, like baby legs.
Yeah. Yep.
Any bottles this week? Were you able to get anything, or did you receive anything?
No, although I have some bottles that are coming in the mail, which is kind of fun. Oh, I got okay, I did. So there is a tasting coming up.
Oh, that's cool.
There's just the sticker on the box. I don't know.
You can't open it?
I think they said to leave it closed until they send out the Zoom information for it. So I left it closed. But I think it's just Aberlour.
Okay. Oh yeah, they do a lot of cool tastings. So
it's gonna be like an all Aberlour tasting though. They're gonna have like the master distiller there.
Oh, that's gonna be real cool.
A couple of people.
That's one distillery. Sadly, we wished could have gone and visit.
We did go in, and then we snuck around, and it's a miracle we didn't get kicked out.
And I almost interrupted someone's tasting, which kind of.
What is up, Shimon? Speaking of dum-dums.
Yeah. So for me, I got something that I was actually interested in. I thought you were gonna send, but you did not. So
What's that?
I was lucky enough that the marketing team behind Arbeg sent me some over. Well, I guess.
Wee Beastie.
Nah, the Black Arbeg Day Edition.
They sent you. Oh, I thought they sent you a whole bottle. I was like, holy piss, dude.
No. They sent me a sample, which is really interesting. So yeah.
How is it? Don't tell me.
I
Don't tell me. 'Cause
I haven't
need it
tasted
for
it yet.
content. I need it for content when I taste the Wee
You do?
Beastie and the Black with my brother. Yeah, we're gonna do a reaction video.
Oh,
I just want to vomit on camera. I know it's gonna happen.
it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be in the smell wise.
Yeah, that's what you always say when it's Ardbeg. Then you sip a little and you wonder.
I would, but then I'm drinking a portwood and it'll ruin the portwood for me.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, no, it's not bad. Smoke wise, anyway. Maybe,
No, I
maybe
ended up
not.
buying
I
it
don't
myself,
know.
Shimon.
I think he has it already. That's probably why.
Yeah, I could probably ask the brands for stuff and they'd probably give it to me. But here's the thing: I don't want to ask for things. If they send it to me, great. If they don't, cool.
And then I do have
Definitely not
a
Ardbeg,
concept of a series that we might be doing on YouTube that I gotta talk to you about later. So,
Ooh, we're already in the middle of a concept for a series, so I'm excited about that.
but yeah, there's another one too that I'm trying
Right.
to do. But yeah, anyway,
Before we get on to today's topic, would
Yeah.
you like to talk about something that's not related to today's topic?
sure, why not?
Hey, it's your thing, dude. I don't know.
Oh, my thing?
I
No.
mean, I know what it is, but I don't know, except for the spelling mistake, what it is.
Oh, what did I spell wrong?
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
We talked about it just before we went live.
Oh, I don't know. I really don't. My brain's fried today, dude.
Coupon code?
Oh, no, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, all right.
Now I know. It was like, I thought I spelled the title wrong or something.
No, that was spelled wrong, remember?
Oh, yeah. I know what.
We literally had this conversation 5 minutes ago.
We did, and Wally knows how fried my brain is now.
Oh, man, it is beyond fried.
Yeah,
right.
it is.
Speaking of fried, let's get started with the first bottle. I'm gonna just do it.
Oh, so you have nothing. I thought you at least had a
I have
bottle or
7
something.
bottles. I have 7 bottles.
Oh, man. Maybe I should do the promo code then now. I thought you still had the bottle to show me or something.
Oh, no. I have 7 bottles to do for the show.
Oh, okay.
I figured
Anyway,
you wanted to do that.
So since this is our first time doing this podcast at all, yeah. So this week, our buddy, I'm trying to figure out where this one.
This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, our buddy, Whiskey and Donuts, has got some new merch out there, and I always like to help, support other creators. John's an amazing guy. And he was lucky enough to give all of you guys over, and it's only until Friday. So remember, Friday, a promo code of 10% off. It's in the description down below. It's Whiskey without an E. Thanks, John. 10 for 10% off on all of his collection merch.
So just Whiskey 10?
Yep. Whiskey Untitled 10.
Whiskey Untitled 10.
And
Whiskey
to be honest,
without an E.
the funniest thing I saw on his website is you see this guy here. He's like, oh, yeah, smoking, good-looking guy. And then you go, whoop. Hey, how you doing? Yep. I just love that. You see it? You don't see it? But yeah, peace, love, peace, love, whiskey, and donuts, which I think is awesome. I think this message needs to be pushed more. There's so much division in our society right now. So peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, whiskey, and donuts. Got a bunch of other stuff. I actually have this T-shirt. I actually really enjoy it. So yeah.
The key to happiness.
It's not a paid sponsorship at all. I'm just trying to help out
business.
my fellow Instagrammer friend. So again, Whiskey Untitled without an E.
For 10% off of Whiskey and Donuts
And again,
merchandise.
not sponsored, just trying to help buddies out. So yeah.
That's why I asked you if you wanted to do that now. Or
I thought you had a bottle or so. Or you're like, oh, I remembered. I'm like, no, okay.
No, I mean, I have a bottle that I have that's not open. It'll be the first bottle that I want to talk about. But it's up to you. We'll talk about finishes however you want to talk about finishes.
Yeah, no. So this week I thought about a topic where, like, just with all the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society bottles coming out, more new bottles coming out, it seems like finishes are becoming a bigger thing. I know last probably year or two. It's probably have.
I didn't grab any SMWS bottles because most SMWS bottles are finished.
And I think that's kind of why I wanted to bring this topic up, is the fact that It seems like I think it was maybe about
Gross.
2-3 years ago. We've been thinking about the finished, like, oh, are these people hiding something? Whiskey should be pure. It should be just in American oak or European oak, and that's it.
Gregor,
So-
you should have left it. But no, finishing whiskey and other types of casks is definitely the spice of life.
Yeah.
Because it just keeps things interesting. Speaking of spice of life and finishing whiskeys, how about
Tabasco.
this bad boy? Finishing Tabasco barrels, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Tabasco is actually distilled vinegar, and then they age it for 3 years, and all those cool peppers and stuff they have. I'm a giant Tabasco fan. I don't hate sriracha. Sriracha is meh, but Tabasco is life. And so I put
Wow.
Tabasco on literally anything. So I bought this bottle
Really?
thinking that I'll probably drink
Do you
some.
bring your
I
own
still
little
haven't cracked it
Tabasco
yet.
thing?
To work, yeah.
Wow. You were one of those.
Yeah, I usually keep a bottle or two at my desk at work
Yeah, one of those. All right.
because I love Tabasco, because you can put on anything and anything will taste better with it. Like, it's miraculous. It's miracle working. It really is. You know, like Koreans believe that kimchi cures cancer. I'm pretty sure Tabasco cures something. Maybe COVID.
All right.
But yeah, no, this is the weirdest of all the finishes that I could find in all the bottles that I had.
Weirdest.
I wanted to
Okay.
grab something because most of the time, a lot of brands finish in like dessert casks or specific types of like high-end beverage casks, and nobody really does. Thank you, Christian. That's me. Nobody really does in like really, really strange casks. So to finish in Tabasco casks, I thought this would be pretty awesome. I still need to crack it, I know, but
Haven't tried it.
and I will. I thought I was going to do it live on this show, but I made a highball, so I was like, I'm not going to do it now. But I haven't tried this yet, but I really want to. I know it's going to be horrible. I know that it's technically a liqueur because 35%.
Yes.
But still, it's at least it's different, right? It's not cinnamon fireball. Crack it now. I'm not going to crack it now. I'll crack it. How about I crack it live on the show next week? Will that
Alright.
work?
Yeah, sure.
I
that'd be great.
really want to get through this highball because it's delicious and I don't want to ruin it with Tabasco. Tabasco's great for food. I don't know about for drink. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's
I'd drink Tabasco.
It's weird, but it makes sense. Like, why not? Right? Why not?
Why not? That's
Plus,
a dangerous question.
It's Dickel, right? So it's a rye.
Yeah.
So rye spice, Tabasco spice. Maybe that's kind of someone figured out. You know, like spice. Why not?
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, no. Next week for sure. We'll push Wally to make sure he tries that.
Yeah, I'll crack it next week.
Yep.
It'll be good.
So in your and this is just me just trying to start the conversation, right? With how independent bottlers are handling things and changing spirits up. Your mindset on finishing. Do you feel and this is kind of pushing it to a topic, right? Do you think it's hiding flaws? Like, do you think they started doing this to hide flaws and then it became something big and then they started pushing it more to enhance flavors or add flavor? Stuff.
So
What's your
there
thought?
are hundreds of distilleries.
Yeah.
Some probably did think, let me get some dessert wine because that'll sweeten this up and then nobody will know what's going on.
Yeah,
and
'cause
some
sherry's a
probably were
big
like, hey,
bomb kind of thing, right?
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and there's so many types of sherry, but I'm sure other ones were like, hey, what if we meld this flavor with it and see what happens, as opposed to let's try to mask our garbage, spirit. So it's probably a mix of both. I don't think any one person was one distillery, one brand was like, hey, we got to do this thing.
Oh yeah,
to
I
mask
don't
bad
think
whiskey.
that there's and that's
I don't
where,
think
like,
anybody's out there to make bad whiskey. Everybody
Yes.
wants to make money, and to do that, you got to make.
and you got to think about too, like, it's just a formula, right? So many factors in producing whiskey. Maybe the yield was off. Maybe the water's temperature was wrong, or whatever. It can cause a whiskey to be bad or not taste as good as their standard. Is probably a better way to say it. And that's where, like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, mindset, because I think it was like 2-3 years ago. Everyone's like, I think more people were purists then. Even though finishing whiskeys was bigger even before that, I started hearing it more and more, and then I kind of basically didn't hear it as much anymore. I think it's more accepting now. It's only been 3 to 5
I
years.
think it depends on the brand. Some brands are known for it and do it all the time, and some don't really make it their thing. Shimon in here with the what's up, One Glass Man? Shimon in here with the very positive outlook, which is, I believe it started as more experimental.
I can see that.
That's very optimistic. I hope that that's why more brands did it, to just see what the flavors would do. It's just like using American ex-bourbon barrels, right? Like the reason came from the Scottish being cheap people. And so in trying to be cheap, they just used American barrels because they knew we couldn't use them anymore because of our very strange
For our
laws.
laws. Yeah, no, like, I do feel as though American bourbon casks or ex-bourbon casks do influence a lot. And we've seen that with many different types, especially with core range whiskeys or scotches. But yeah,
that's one of the first bottles I wanted to bring up because for me, this was it was in the first 10 bottles I ever purchased. And this isn't even the first one, this is the second one now. But it is the Glenmorangie Nectar d'Or.
Okay.
So I'm a very big fan of Sawturns. If you've ever looked for perfect wine scores.
that's an old bottle, dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know how many of these. Yeah. No, the new one has like the thinner font. I have another one of those too. I have a problem with these. They're so good. But yeah, there you go. The new thinner font. So Sawturns, if you like perfect wine scores, there are some Sawturns like Chateau de Chem that constantly come in at 99 and 100 points because of how good it is. Ironically, Chateau de Chem is owned by LVMH, who also owns Glenmorangie.
Which makes sense, right? You want to kind of share your barrels.
Absolutely. And so they're using the best Sauternes casks that you can possibly use to age the 10-year in for 2 more years, which gives it an incredible dessert flavor. And for me, as a beginner looking for interesting whiskeys, I think the whole core line that Glenmo does with like the port, the sherry, Lasanta, whatchamacallit, and the Nectar d'Or, like it was just a really good idea. And it introduces people to finishing without being offensive and actually being ridiculously friendly. I think it's.
Do you think their finishing was their thing? Like, hey, we have a 10-year-old.
They've been doing it. They've been doing it since the 70s.
And that's where I think, like, when you hear about finishing, I think most people kind of dive into Glenmo. Like, that's kind of the thing they're known for. Would you agree?
Yeah, they've just been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get old Glenmo Sauternes cast. You can get old Glenmo Madeira cast finish. Like, they've been doing it for a minute.
No, and I think it's interesting. I do like that they're experimenting with their experimental series, changing casts up, which is great. So, good or bad, it's a fun experiment line, which I think is great. And I think this is where, since a large brand like Glenmo is doing this, more and more, I want to say more and more brands, but even smaller brands are excited to try those things.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we're talking about finishing, yeah. And finishing, One Glass Man, I didn't know the new Nectar d'Or is it really NAS? And their 30-year-olds finish in Madeira. Oh my gosh, what a decadent way to finish things.
This one says 12 years on right on the bottom of the small part, and this is probably about 2 years old.
Yeah, I have a new bottle too that has it definitely on the bottom. So if the new ones are NAS, that's kind of a surprise to me. Especially with them moving the port to a 14.
Yeah, I saw that. I know that I did it.
That's a heck of a surprise.
Yeah, so for my bottle, and Gregor's pretty familiar with this, and you've had this one. It's Wonderback Batch 2. Now, this is where I'm
I don't remember.
If I'm hoping that more brands are doing this kind of thing, having just like Glenmo did, right? They have their 10-year, and then they add 2 years or 4 years now with their Portwood to kind of be like, hey, this is our standard. This is what it can do in a certain type of cast. This Batch 2 is in a Caribbean cast, so it's kind of like, all right, cool. What can you do with a Caribbean cast? And
Caribbean rum?
Yeah, Caribbean rum. So this is where I think cast finishes should be in that line, where like you have the base spirit and then you kind of, I won't say fancy it up, but at least try something different.
Yeah, that's more along the lines of like experimentation. What's up, Cody?
Yeah, and this is where I feel like I wish I had more knowledge about like independent bottlers, Scotch Malt Whisky Society, and so on. Where is there a reason why they do these? Like, oh, we just think it's going to be good in a port cast, or we have extra port cast, or this thing tasted like crap. We need to.
So I think it's going to be a mix of both, right? Especially for independent bottlers, but it depends on which independent bottler.
Yeah.
Because just like we talked about before, with like Gordon and MacPhail, you've got them buying spirits from everybody, and then they source their own best casks and then age them over like a bajillion years. They do some incredible things over there. So it really does depend on the IB. I feel like for SMWS, I don't know. I don't know why I judge them so differently. I think it's the shipping costs. But like,
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just because they're the bigger dog in the independent bottling, and then it seems
or
like
at least the most prevalent.
Yeah, it's either they're finished in some type of sherry cask or they're natural.
Yeah,
like they did have one, and I messaged you today about it, the Jamaican rum one, which was really interesting. I didn't really see that many of stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
even though Balveni's is Caribbean rum,
yes.
There's
some Jamaican funk in there.
No, originally it was Jamaican that they were using, but they couldn't
It was
get consistency,
Cuban.
so they ended up.
Cuban.
Was it? No, they also did Cuban,
I know Cuban was
but
for the UK market.
but they tried Jamaican and they couldn't get consistency, so they ended up buying. So what they ended up doing is making their own casks, sending them over there, having very specific distilleries aging their casks, and then taking their casks back. So they basically rent their casks to Jamaican
Oh, so like
distilleries to
a
get
like
the
an
flavor that they
exchange
want.
program, cask exchange kind of thing.
Yeah, they take it back so that they can make it more consistent. It's like Balvenie has such an interesting story for that whole thing.
All right, what else you got?
Yeah.
We're only two
Scotch-
bottles deep, and it's already like.
Scotch.
what's
Oh,
the name
sorry.
of it?
Scotch Society saying cask availability. That's probably part of it too. Imagine we're rectifying them for the good of the juice. Yeah, Gregor, it depends, right? Like I want to say that it's experimenting and making things interesting too. Speaking of experimenting and making things interesting, I will give it to these people. Glenfiddich with the Grand Cru. This at first, when I heard that they were finishing in Grand Cru barrels, I was like, okay, like
What would
champagne
that
barrels.
do?
Like,
What would that
do
do?
I care? But they're actually doing this in fermenting casks, not just regular barrels. So these barrels are active with like active bubbles and yeast inside of them. So it makes for, again, an interesting spirit and an interesting experiment that turned out really well. We've already talked to, Tracy, who's no longer with Glenfiddich, but we talked to Tracy and a bunch of other people up in New York about what was going on with the Grand Cru, why they did it this way, how many times they failed at this experiment, why they had to keep redoing it, and what it took for them to get the Grand Cru to actually taste fantastic, because they botched it a couple times ahead of time, and it was very expensive botches. But they owned up to it, and so, it's super good. It's just different. Charles is reaching for another bottle, I believe, which makes me want to go to another bottle. But
you can go if you want to talk about experimentals. We can kind of push that way.
I'm just gonna say, now that you're back, I'm not really gonna talk about experimentals. I'm just gonna let you guys know that you can get the Balvenie 21 Portwood and be slightly disappointed, or you can get the Glenmorangie 21 Portwood, and this thing is super bombing. It's supposed to compete with the Balvenie. You can find it for like $150 online, which is blowing my mind.
I think it's a great price. I haven't tried it yet though.
This tastes, it's super good. Because every time people are like, oh, I poop on Glenmorangie because they make only cheap $30 bottles of, and I'm like, listen to me, have you had this one? Like, talk about Glenmorangie all you want,
and I think
do not talk about this bottle.
I think when that bottle did come out, I think a lot of Instagrammers did jump on that. They love it.
Heck yeah,
I certainly haven't done. You've done a side by side.
Good. Yes,
and I think your video is out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I feel as though the American single malt is kind of pushing more of the boundaries compared to what Scotch is doing right now. I'm surprised you didn't bring out the IPA casts from Glenfiddich, because they did do that one, even though I didn't get that much pine, which an IPA is. But Westland, on the other hand, is doing a lot of cask exchanges. This is a cask exchange that they have. As you know, the Pacific Northwest has a lot of breweries right now. A lot of dark stout type beers are coming out. So a lot of them want to basically do a cask exchange where they leave their beer in, let it age, like that Scotch stout kind of thing they're doing. And then Westland takes their barrels back, and then they put their whiskey in it and age it for a little bit. So this is one of, I think, 3 or 4 cask exchanges they've done so far. I actually haven't opened this one, but I have another one. This just was cast. This says beer cast, but hard to dive in a bit.
It's just some kind of beer.
This is it's kind of funny too. They say American single malt aged in a beer cask that was actually used to make beer. I'm like, shit, no wonder. But on the website you can actually look it up and it'll tell you like what type of beer it was.
Nice.
But yeah.
Shimon just said that there's going to be a distillery releasing a bottle finished in dessert wine and one Chardonnay. Funny story.
Dessert wine?
Got a Chardonnay bottle right here for you. Boom, shakalaka. It's all right. It's got a bit of that buttery note if you like shards. I'm not a big fan of shard because, Gun Luck Bunchu, Gun Bun, right? Like the pinnacle of shards.
Yep.
Super good. Super buttery. Super incredible. Pretty much the rest of shards for me fall short of that and are trash. But whatever they finish this one in, it does lend a lot of like good buttery flavors. No, once you have like, I'm telling you, Gunlock Bunchu, man, once you have one of their shards.
I'm surprised that you didn't bring out their cider cast. And I was about to bring that out, but I'm looking at it.
So I was going to grab the cider cask, but then I was like, you know what? Let's mix it up. Shard, because it's weird. Cider cask is also strange.
I think cider cast is weird, and I don't see a lot of those. I think that's the only one I've seen in a cider cast. Or
okay.
Would you just... So yeah, no, like
think so.
like I'm enjoying what the American single malt's doing. I wished this, and I know Scotch has a lot of rules, so I bet you they're like, oh, we can only do certain amounts, or we have to test the waters or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like these American single malts are just pushing the boundaries when it comes to these cast finishes. Like, and I think it's because they can.
Yeah, they're doing a good job, and they're breaking all kinds of rules. Like imagine an American whiskey finished in cognac casks. That'd be pretty good, right? Like this one, like this Bell Mead finished in cognac cask.
I think almost every Bell Mead has, right? They have the sherry and the
no, so they do have the regular Bell Mead, and then they do have a regular they have a cask strength reserve, but they also have the cognac, the Madeira, the sherry, and they're all very, very good.
Now, since we've been talking about a lot of bottles we do enjoy or do like, and it seems like overall cask finishes are in a positive note. Sadly, I can't find this bottle. I was trying to look for it yesterday, but I have a bottle of what was it called? I forgot the name because it's that bad. Was the bourbon that Belvini bought? Glenfiddich bought.
Oh, from Toodletown.
Man, you guys brought it, but they had a
from New York, Hudson.
The Hudson bourbon. There you go. They had a maple cask finish, and that was horrible. I bet it might be changing different. I had batch 1 or batch 2, and it was like $60 or $70, and it was a $3.75, and that was one of the worst whiskeys I've ever had in my life. I apologize if you liked it, but it tasted like stale old maple syrup. And it was gross.
I agree with One Glass Man. Yeah, Twisted Tattoo with the Rioja wine casks.
See, and this is where like I think the mindset changed from maybe 3 or 4 years ago when everyone was poo-pooing on finishes. And
they still have it.
People thinking that it's covering up or masking a bad.
I want to know who you're talking about that was poo-pooing on finishes, because finishes,
dude, it was a lot, and it was even a bunch of YouTubers as well, which was really
really?
Yeah, 2-3 years ago, it was everyone's like, I need this, I need standard, I want their core line, I don't want this fake bull crap.
This is why everybody needs to judge every whiskey on its own, man.
And yeah, it was just interesting because like I understand the mindset of where they're coming from, right? Like they want the core range of what they want the distiller or the manufacturers to show their skills, their talents.
Of course.
But it was just interesting. And then now I'm noticing a switch because like I'm not saying we've been in the community for a long time, 3 or 4 years, right? But seeing that transformation of going from that to now more whiskey producers are pushing out these finish casts or cast finishings and then changing things up. I think our generation's pushing the boundaries when it comes to
that. Like I said before, like Glenmoe's been doing this for like 40 years, 50 years. I mean, it just depends, right? It just depends on which brands and what they're doing.
I think that
I think there are brands.
Yeah, I understand with Glenmoe, like it makes totally sense. But like, didn't they get pinged a few times already because of this cast finishes?
Maybe right? some of their wording. Do you mean with Scotch Whisky Whisky Association?
Yeah,
yeah, just for some weird stuff. It was the tequila stuff. Yeah, the bourbon drinkers always go to the same go-tos in the Scotch world.
It's interesting too. Yeah, like with bourbon drinkers, like they love their vanilla bombs, they love their caramels, and that's fine. That if that's what you're into, so be it. But when you've been drinking, I won't say professionally, right? But for 4 years drinking, trying different things, you want variety. Like that's you wanted stuff that tastes like feet. Like it tastes like crap, but it's still interesting.
Margot. Yeah, you definitely wanted to taste like something interesting. And in 1987 Glenmoe finished in Margot cast sounds good. Bowmore finished in Claret cast sounds amazing.
Let us know if you guys have anything that you guys like finished. Let us know if you have a bottle that you hate or you enjoy, because I would love to hear more of the stuff you hate, because you don't really hear about the failures.
Tell us about the stuff you hate and the stuff you like, though, because remember, finishing spirits sometimes can make them taste even gooder. This is rum finished in sherry cask. Yeah, I know, but it's finished in sherry cask. Finished in sherry cask. So this rum was already a vanilla bomb and incredible on its own. Yep. Then they were like, let's do a special edition and finish it in sherry casks. And it was genius. Not because this is my second bottle because I have a rum problem, but because this is an incredible rum. Yeah, finishing, it depends on the spirit, right? Like that spirit was amazing before. The rum just made it gooder. Like I hate to say this, but Glen Moray, the 21, I bet that port would probably help quite a bit.
I would say that, and that's probably what helped with the price too, right?
I don't want to knock Bell Mead either, but like I don't like Bell Mead's standard single barrels, but their finish casks all taste fantastic.
Like I personally did not like the IPA, Glenfiddich IPA. I did not like that. But then when they came out with that 20,
Malbec,
the XX or whatever, Project 20 or Project XX, that thing was amazing. That
a lot of people loved it.
That had a port finished that I think Beth picked out. That thing
was it port finished or port aged?
It could be a port aged. But that thing killed. Like that thing made it what it was.
Yeah, I tried to stay away from aged stuff. That's why I had no Macallan, because I was like, that's all sherry aged, not sherry.
No, I agree. But they blended those.
Oh, Shimon, Jim Beam Masterpiece, finished in sherry cask. I don't know. I did try their whatchamacallit recently, the one finished in the one they did the chocolate rye. It was no good. But let me say something. Wait, no, Jim Beam. That's not what I'm thinking of. Who's doing the? Oh, it's Woodford. Woodford's. I have to say this. I just tried Woodford's newest small batch. Right? It's called small batch. It's like from their Masters collection or whatever.
Is that the fancy bottle one?
It's a fancy bottle one. It's called the small batch. Like it's whatever the first version is, like 123% or whatever it is. That bottle is banging. Like I thought the chocolate rye would be good. I was like, hey, it's chocolate malted rye, so it should have interesting espresso flavors. It should be good. I literally sipped that and I was like, wow, that was a letdown. And then I sipped the batch one, I think it's called. It's just the new one, the small batch. It is amazing. Like I need to buy a bottle real bad. Correct. Wait, is that it? Is that batch one?
This is the oat grain, and this is
no. Not oat grain, not brandy. So there's one called small batch.
Yeah,
that comes in those bottles.
I think it's the black one.
It is good.
Yeah, I could get that one.
It's so good. It's the only whiskey I finished that night.
Really?
Yes. It was so good.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm like really, really interested in more bourbons getting finished. I don't know why. I'm kind of over.
It's just something that hasn't been done a lot.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say done a lot. It just hasn't done well.
I'll give you that.
and I also, I'm sorry, to be honest, but like it also feels as though that bourbon drinkers don't like it either. Like they're like, I want my standard.
But bourbon drinkers tend to be not experimental. Look at bourbon drinkers. What do they run to? Balvenie 14 Caribbean gas. Ooh, this tastes like sweet sugar rum. Stinking monkey shoulder. Oh, this tastes like a fantastic whiskey. Yeah, it's a blend of really, really fruity light stuff. Of course you like it. It just makes sense. I think a lot of bourbon drinkers don't really want to delve into things like, I don't know, just weird flavors. Just the things that aren't sweet, things that are a little more harsh on your palate. Like
what's Drew talking about?
Like
fish barrel. Have you heard that one?
Fish barrel? Like whiskey's roots?
I don't know. I wonder if this Drew, give us more information on that. It'd be really interesting. Like a fish barrel.
That sounds weird. Oil?
I don't think it'd be weird, but yeah. I think it'd be weird, but I would still try it.
What are you talking about? Yeah, no, so the fish barrel thing came from like transporting barrels across the ocean.
Yeah.
And so they used to like rechar them so they didn't have the taste of fish.
But yeah, no, like so.
Oh, man, that doesn't sound good at all.
And I throw this question off to everybody in chat as well, and in the comments below if you're watching this on replay, if you guys had to pick, like, what barrel would you want finished? Like, weird. It doesn't have to be good. It's just weird. Give you a minute. Anything you want. Something aged in a barrel, they dump that out, so it could be whatever.
I mean, they already do coffee aged barrels, and those are pretty good.
Have they done a Scotch though? Like what Scotch company would you do with that?
Probably Balvenie, because it'd be more subtle. The coffee would kind of take over. It'd be good. Calvados it's been done so much. Christian says crotch. I don't know anything about that.
I'm like, all right.
Crotch finished.
I'm thinking some like mint oil.
One glassman said the best Balvenie ever not finished was a 15 single barrel. I am a hardcore disagree.
Wait, 15 I bought one because everybody. Sherry or regular?
No, the regular ex-bourbon. A lot of people who loved it really, really loved it. I am a hater of it.
Really?
Like the 15 sherry is miles above it. I found one of those bottles for like $120 at a local store. Not kind of local. It was a heck of a drive. But I was like, you know what? Here it is. I finally found one. I'll grab it. I grabbed it, came home. Turns out I had another bottle of it. I just didn't realize it was sitting on the shelf unopened. So I was like, let me just crack one of these open.
Yeah, I have a
Cracked it
15
open.
sherry.
Not a fan. I have tasted Balvenis that have been aged for an incredible period of time that were done in just ex-bourbon that were incredible, like from the DCS Compendium. Fantastic what they can do with ex-bourbon. But the 15 was not one of them.
Yeah, I have the 15 sherry, and then I have the 12-year-old single first fill.
The 12 single, it's okay. It's just, it's weird to me, the brands that do ex-bourbon that I love and the ones that do it but hold it. Like, Balvenie holds their ex-bourbons that are incredible for really expensive stuff. Glenfiddich has incredible ex-bourbon barrels, but they are 40 years old and cost you thousands of dollars. And they taste phenomenal.
Yeah, we had that one with that Gemma shared with us when we were there in Scotland. That thing was...
Yeah, that 80... Oh, my goodness. Yes.
But no, and that's where, like, I'm hoping that these younger brands kind of push more of that stuff to get their brand noticed, because you do know that these big brands, like even like Macallan, Glenfiddich, and so on, have finished barrels that are just there. I would amazing.
I almost said I'd like to try a finished Macallan, but I've had a Macallan aged in rum barrels. Independent bottler Alchemy did it. It was a 15-year. It was fantastic. They're all gone.
Do you think? I bet you Macallan probably has some. Maybe we should ask. I bet you have some finished barrels, some experiment. Like, you know, they're gonna experiment, good or bad.
Are they?
I think they.
What they should experiment with is sherry casks,
or keep it with them. I bet you they have them, and they're releasing a 40-year-old or 30-year-old or something. Keep them. Like, hey, we don't have enough of them left. We're gonna jack up the price on these guys.
Didn't they do that? They were called experimental series
or whatever. The
exceptional series.
Yeah, the one that we had was pretty good. But yeah, let us know in the comments below what kind of barrel finishes you guys... Oh, Coca-Cola barrel would be pretty cool.
Coca-Cola would make me happy en Los Pantalones. Root beer, not as much.
Orange soda would be pretty cool too.
What's Pisco? Orange soda would be cool with somebody that with a bourbon, because it would taste like cream soda? What do you call that stupid... No, it's the ice cream bar, the orange creamsicle. It tastes like a creamsicle. Oh, that sounds good.
Oh man, that would be...
Yes, get yourself a Toki Fever Tree and a little bit of Angostura bitters, which you probably already have on your shelf.
Post it on Instagram. Tag us in it, man.
That stuff, definitely tag me in it, because that has been my go-to lately.
But yeah, no, and the reason, like I said before, I wanted to see how the community's acting about it now, because I know when I started my journey like 4 or 5 years ago, it definitely was a bit on the focus on the core range, not the experimental stuff, but it seems like more and more now, as I think maybe the deeper I get into the community.
But this is so biased, though. Everybody who's in chat right now is literally an enthusiast. We all already know that we want weird stuff. Like, we want to try anything. So
it's true. We would want to try anything, except for that one that they that's like, was it that spit whiskey or whatever it is?
No, or the pea whiskey. We're not doing that either.
Yeah, no.
That when they're like, hey, did you know that diabetics have so much sugar in their pee that it causes them to have enough to distill? And I'm like, no.
They're called Bucks. There you go, Votry. What do you call it, Wally? Votry's
ginger beer highballs. Ooh, I guess I drink Bucks.
There you go.
Go Buck.
All right. Any other bottles you have?
What do you mean?
About that many bottles?
No, that was all 7.
I got to get on these Photoshop stuff. You have some pretty cool. But yeah, guys, just remember again, our buddy Whiskey and Donuts is having a sale right now. 10% off.
With
Use
the
code Whiskey Untitled without an E. 10% off. I think John did that to be a dick, so thanks, John. Appreciate it, buddy.
It sounds real.
But yeah, no, I do like his shirts. They fit pretty well. They're very soft. I'm wearing one right now. Boom. Not even sponsored. Just helped buddies out.
Stupid cask? Who does stupid cask? It's a brewer. That once held it. Okay, can I just say something real quick? I think a Buna finishing cask that held herrings would be amazing. Mostly because Buna tastes like red tide anyways, and it's my favorite.
But
oh my god.
Glad you don't like it?
I would. Where can I find this? Brook-Laddie, I think would be a little smoky fish. I think it could be good. I think it could taste better than that garbage put out of that distillery just down the street from them that puts out a bunch of NAS stuff that doesn't taste that great.
All right. And on that note, thank you guys again for joining us. Patreon supporters, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for
you guys are the best.
Again, stay safe out there.
It's the worst.
Please wear a mask. It's not a political statement. Just
wear a mask because it saves old people. That's really what it comes down to. We all get it. Young people are going to be fine. If you're under the age of 65, your odds are so low. It's not even funny, like 4%.
Don't listen. Don't listen to Wally.
The people who are over 65, though, that murder rate is pretty bad at like 90%. So if we could just keep the old people safe.
We need them to make whiskey for us.
The old people?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to learn from somebody.
All right. And on that note, what do we say here?